Instant match reaction. Everton 1, Manchester United 3 at Goodison Park. A third straight defeat for Carlo Ancelotti's Everton, and another absolutely shocking performance. Man United making it 3 right at the end of the game. Edison Cavani scoring from the counter-attack when Everton should have equalised. Abdoulaye Doucouré, for me, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. He literally only has to get a connection on the ball and it's 2-2, and we've somehow come away from that game with a point. But you know what? We didn't deserve a point today. We didn't deserve anything out of the game. Once again, we were awful. And, you know, we spoke numerous times about how having the creativity of James Rodriguez back, having, you know, Seamus Coleman back, Luca Dean back in the team will give us, you know, something that we didn't have last week against Newcastle. But again, we're sort of sitting here having the same conversation that we had after the Southampton game, and that is, it doesn't really matter because the main spark in our team, at our football club, in Richarlison, is still not there, and therefore we put in another awful performance. And I'm not putting it down to just Richarlison not being there today, because I think that lets every single other player off the hook far too easily. We were shocking. We were absolutely awful. We started the game well. We allowed them a lot of the ball, yes, okay, but we defended well. We got our shape and we broke, and we had a couple of little opportunities, you know, to get at them. Nothing clear cut, but we had a couple of chances that showed, you know, with dangers on the counter-attack. We go 1-0 up. Bernard with a fantastic goal, really, really well played. Ball comes in from Pickford. Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets it down, and Bernard finishes coolly. And you're thinking, this is a fantastic start. This is a brilliant start. Go out, get a second, get a third, and completely kill this game off. If we'd have gone out there and we'd have got another 1 or 2 in that opening sort of 20 minutes, Man United wouldn't have got back into that game. Their heads would have dropped, and that would have been it. But we don't. What we do is we look at Man United and we think, who is their most creative player? Who provides 99% of their creativity? Okay, it's Bruno Fernandes. Let's just leave him unmarked. Let's just wait for him to do whatever he wants to do. Let's give him all the time in the world. Bruno Fernandes, listen, I think he's a horrible footballer. I'm probably going to sound a bit bitter here. I don't care. I do not like him. He goes into my list of footballers that I just have no time for whatsoever. He's dirty. He shouldn't have even been on the pitch today. That referee embarrassed himself. No excuse, we were awful, but that referee was shocking today. But again, you know, it doesn't matter really what we think about him. He is their creative spark. He provides 99% of their opportunities, and we allow them all the time in the world today. We just didn't seem like we wanted to track. We didn't seem like we wanted to defend. We didn't seem like we wanted to massively get back into the game when we conceded. Okay, the second half was marginally better than the first half in terms of controlling the ball, but Man United were happy to let us control the ball in the second half. Man United were happy to say, you know, you pass it around 400 times in the midfield and 400 times in the back, because you're still leaving Dominic Calvert-Lewin isolated up front, so you're not going to create. And we didn't create anything. James Rodriguez was poor today, really poor. A couple of nice little flicks and nice little balls, but he found himself for 80% of the time he was on the pitch playing central defensive midfield. He was coming that deep to pick the ball up, and he signalled obviously towards the end of the game that he wasn't fit and that he was injured and he needed to come off. And unfortunately, that's the risk that Carlo Ancelotti runs when you put a player in who's clearly not 100%. Same with Mason Holgate. I thought he looked massively off the pace today, which is expected. You know, he hasn't played in the Premier League so far this season. He's been out for 10, 11 weeks, so that's expected. But again, I honestly don't think there's one Everton player that you look at, maybe Luca Dean, but I don't think there's any other Everton player that you look at and think you've done yourself good there for the entire 90 minutes. Bernard had a good first half and done okay in patches, but again went missing massively towards the end. You know, like I said, the rest of the back line didn't really do much. Seamus Coleman, for me, got caught a couple of times far too easily. Again, a couple of chances where he went forward. He did do well to get the ball into the box, you know, on the Doucouré occasion, but there's just nothing really there. Once we conceded that first goal, which was a shocking goal to concede, by the way, a simple ball into the box and the defence just stand there and watch Bruno Fernandes. And we actually had a similar situation, you know, a few minutes before when Anthony Martial, the ball went in to the box. I think it was at 0-0, and Anthony Martial was on his own, and the line had stepped up and he was onside and he hit it wide, luckily enough. But again, like I said, once it went to 1-1, once we conceded, it just felt like typical heads drop, loser mentality, don't want to get back into the game Everton. And again, we did control the ball in the second half, but I'm not asked about that. I don't care how much we controlled the ball. I don't care how much we passed it about. We did not create anything. We didn't really look like threatening. We put a couple of balls into the box. That was it. Other than the last 30 seconds with the Doucouré chance, we didn't have another clear-cut chance that you looked at and you thought, that's the opportunity to get back into the game. It just so happens the chance that we did have was in the last 2 seconds and they went up the other end and scored. It was, look, the international break has come at a very, very welcome time for Everton Football Club. A very welcome time. 3 straight defeats, 3 bad performances. Gylfi Sigurdsson again. Why? That's another thing that really, really bugs me. Why is Gylfi Sigurdsson, or any other player for that matter, taking set pieces when James Rodriguez is on the pitch? The first 5 games of the season, every single set piece that James took, it either was floated into the box and created the chance, or it went in. Every single time he puts it right in the in the place that it needs to be, right on Dominic Calvert-Lewin's head, or right on Yerry Mina's head against Brighton, for example. Why are we saying to James Rodriguez, yeah, you go and stand in the box and we'll give it to Gylfi Sigurdsson, who hits the first man more times than anybody I've ever seen? Again, absent today other than set pieces. Decore and Allen, for me, didn't do enough. Done okay in the second half and sort of done the job in the second half, but didn't do the job enough in the first half. They were just overran completely. Manchester United found it far too easy to break through us. Like I said, defensively, Mason Holgate wasn't up to fitness, which is understandable, but why did he remain on the pitch for the entire game then? Michael Keane, again, nothing really stand out. Luca Dean done okay, like I mentioned. Jordan Pickford, don't really think he can do much for either goal. Second goal maybe because he watches it, but I think he thinks Marcus Rashford's going to get on the end of it. The situation where he clattered into Harry Maguire. Again, we're looking at a goalkeeper now and it's getting to the point where the ball's going up in the air and you're thinking, can he catch this? And that's disgraceful. For a Premier League goalkeeper, if a ball goes in the air, you should have 100% confidence. You shouldn't even have to think about it. It should just be Jordan's catching that. Whereas now the balls are going up in the air and you're thinking, is he going to fumble it? He might have had a little bit of a knock, but he does. Is it a penalty? No. Steve McManaman as well, he's an absolute joke. Why he's commentating on Everton Football Club is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. He's the most biased Liverpool fan. I've got friends that are Liverpool fans and season ticket holders that are less biased than Steve McManaman. He is a disgrace. It was never a penalty. Go up the other end and Harry Maguire flies right into Luca Dean, merely touches the ball and goes straight through Dean and nothing's mentioned of it. Neither were probably penalties, but why is one mentioned an awful lot and the other one isn't? But again, referee aside, it was shocking. Commentary aside, which was dreadful. We just were poor today. No excuse other than we were absolutely atrocious again. And, for me, Carlo Ancelotti has to get Richarlison in and say, never make another challenge again. In fact, don't even go to the floor. Just stand up. Don't make another challenge again, because it's very clear we cannot work, we cannot function without his creativity and without his directness up top. Again, another big issue with Everton for me is you look at performances like that, you look on 50, 60, 70 minutes when we're still not really creating any clear-cut chances, and you look to the bench and who do you see? Who comes off the bench to change a game? Iwobi come on, done okay with the ball at his feet, but he doesn't. He's a central midfielder. He is a central midfielder 100%. He is not a winger. He hasn't got the instinct to get down the wing. He just isn't. He put a couple of good balls in, but too often he picked it up and he went backwards. He's not a winger. Again, Cenk Tosun, What is going on? What's going on? Nothing against Cenk Tosun whatsoever, but how have we gone from a side that are winning games comfortably and looking fantastic to looking at players that haven't played for the club for a long time to come on and change the game? What's happening? What is actually happening? I don't know. Again, it was pretty much the same as Newcastle. Don was left isolated up top. No creativity. James had a poor game. Didn't really look like getting involved, but was probably carrying a knock. Midfield were poor and were bypassed too easily. Bernard, again, faded out very, very quickly in the second half. We've lost the game 3-1. Ultimately, we made it very, very easy for the poor Man United side today. We could have turned up there and put a lot of pressure on Manchester United. We shown Dominic Calvert-Lewin only had to stand up and head the ball, and their defence fell to bits for our first goal, and Bernard scored. But we had a couple of chances where balls were going into the box. Luca Dean hits the post at 1-1, could have made it 2-1. Like I said, right at the end, Abdoulaye Doucouré has to be doing better. There's no excuses for that. I'm not willing to sit here and go, oh, it's unlucky, swipe that one under the carpet. No, he needs telling about that you cannot have an opportunity like that in the last 15 seconds of a game that you're losing and just fluff your lines and be like, oh, well, what happens? Oh, well. It's not good enough. And that was the story of the game. It just wasn't good enough whatsoever. Look, the international break's coming at a welcome time. I'm absolutely made up. I can't wait for a week off of, not watching us put in performances like that, and then Richarlison's back after it. But again, there's no excuse today. Other than the referee was awful, which he was, we lacked any energy and intensity and urgency in the first half, and we got a little bit of it back in the second half in terms of controlling the ball, but there was just no creativity whatsoever, to the point where James Rodriguez is practically playing centre half, which is just you know, I don't really know what to say. Anyway, that is my instant match reaction. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Play ratings will be up shortly. Cal's instant match reaction will be up as well shortly. But yeah, another atrocious result, another atrocious performance. I don't know. I honestly don't know where we go from here now. One thing is very, very clear is that depth-wise of this squad, we aren't a European challenging side. Full starting 11 with Richarlison and James on form and everybody, then yeah, we'll challenge a lot of teams. But as soon as you take one or two of those players out, and it's evident as soon as you take Richarlison out, we're struggling. We are going to struggle because, you know, I don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed, leave a like and we'll see you soon.